Manipulative characters are some of the most important types of characters in stories. Whether they manipulate for the world's greater good or their own personal gain, they secretly direct the plot without anyone even noticing. However, these characters can be very hard to write because most of them have their own goals and directions completely separate from the story. That's where I come in. Today, I'm going to help you learn how to write them. But to write these characters into your story, you first have to understand why they use manipulation. You need to remember that manipulators aren't truly evil. It usually comes from trauma. Manipulation was simply just how they learned how to survive. Situations like constant competition between family and friends or having manipulative role models can lead to this. Now, let's look at some tactics. Manipulators are often very perceptive. One thing you'll notice about them is that they're asking questions a lot. They're trying to find outside information to use to their advantage, reading people's emotions like a book. Getting information on their current or future victim helps them get what they want. Manipulators tend to push boundaries a lot. They try to see what makes the other person uncomfy and see how much of a reaction they can get out of them. This gives them a good advantage over the other person on what they can and cannot do to get their trust. Manipulators also tend to be very strategically vulnerable. They reveal stuff about themselves in a very strategized manner to gain trust from the other person. They have to act like they trust the other person and tell them things about themselves and be vulnerable in front of them to gain the other person's trust. This creates a good bond for them to work upon. If you are writing a manipulative character, your character should always try to create a relationship that depends on them. They should try to create a bond they control. A good way of doing this is by alternating rewards and punishments for the same tasks or different tasks. This creates a kind of dependency on their approval. One thing that goes along with the earlier step of perceptiveness is mirroring people. Manipulators don't tend to have one set personality. They tend to have multiple that they switch between. Mirroring others creates familiarity and similarity with the victim. The victim then trusts the manipulator more, and it gains the manipulator an advantage. Alright, now you have some basic knowledge of how manipulators are written. Congrats! This video is only a quick introduction on writing these characters. So make sure that if you are seriously planning on writing this character type, do further research on the personality and skills of a manipulator, as well as trauma that could lead up to becoming a manipulator. Remember that the best manipulative characters manipulate the protagonist and the reader. Happy writing!